Hey guys, today your lesson is going to be on something called rates. So rates are very, very similar to ratios, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But to get you warmed up, I would like you to solve this ratio problem. So you are going to use a hashtag for this. So don't forget to draw your hashtag, win, and solve the problem. So pause the video, and when you come back, you'll see how you did. Okay, so it says that Sally used all of the paint shown below to make a certain tint of orange paint. How many pints of red paint should be mixed with 24 pints of yellow paint to make the same tint of orange? And we're going to use the hashtag to solve the problem. So we know that there is yellow and red paint being used. So those are going to be our words. So the information that we know. So we know that these paint buckets are used to make the yellow tint or the orange tint. They used 3 yellow with 4 red. So the ratio of yellow to red is 3 to 4. And they're asking us to find how many red we need to use if we have 24 yellow paint buckets. So we need to figure out 3 times what gets us 24. Well, I know that 3 times 8 is 24. So 4 times 8 is 32. So you need 32 buckets of red paint. Okay, so good job if you got it correct. If you did not get it correct, that's okay. We're still working with the hashtag, and hopefully you'll just become better with it after today. Okay, so like I said, we are starting our lesson on rates. They are just like ratios, behave just like ratios. They're just a teeny bit different. So we are on page 155 in your textbook. So page 155. So pause the video and get there right now if you are not. And when you're there, you can hit play. Okay, so like I said, a rate is like a ratio. A rate is a comparison of 2 quantities, just like we do with ratios where we are comparing 2 different quantities. And the only thing that's really different that they include in this is that they have different units. So an example they give you is Chris drove 107 miles in 2 hours. This can be expressed as a rate shown to the right. So notice it looks just like a ratio, how they stack it kind of like a fraction, but they include the labels now. So instead of it being 107 to 2, they actually include it. And usually like the line in a rate means the word like in or per. So if you are driving 60 miles per hour, that's actually a rate. Okay, that speed is a rate. You're actually traveling 60 miles in 1 hour. Okay, so that's considered a rate, just like them traveling 107 miles in 2 hours. Okay. So very similar to ratios, but they just have labels. So we're going to do an example together on page 155. The biggest thing with rates is that they're going to have you comparing a lot of rates. Okay, so in order to compare rates, you have to compare the same thing. So if I look at these 2 rates, 107 miles in 2 hours and 60 miles in 1 hour, those are not easy to compare because we're talking about 2 totally different time frames, 2 hours and 1 hour. So very often in rates, they have you do a little math and get the same bottom number. That way it's very easy to compare. And we're actually going to do that in an example right here just to show you what I mean. So on page 155, it says that Shayna is at the grocery store comparing 2 brands of juice. So the first brand A costs $3.84 for a 16-ounce bottle. But brand B costs $4.50 for a 25-ounce bottle. So this happens all the time. Like when I go to the grocery store or when I go to Sam's Club, I want to buy the best price. I want to get the most bang for my buck. So I need to make sure I'm getting the best deal per 1 ounce of juice. So because I can't tell looking at this $3.84 for 16 ounces and $4.50 for 25 ounces. I have no idea which one is the better deal just looking at those. So I'm actually going to do some math and I'm going to figure out the price of 1 ounce in each bottle, because once I figure out the price of 1 ounce in each bottle, that's very easy to compare. Okay. So they actually want you to fill out these tables to help you figure out the price of 1 ounce of juice. So here they have brand A. It was 16 ounces, $3.84. So they have you just cutting the price and the ounces in half. So dividing it by 2. And you keep cutting it down until you get all the way to 1 ounce. So $3.84, they divided that by 2 and got $1.92. So if you cut $1.92 in half and divide it by 2, you get 96 cents. And they want you to divide that by 2 to get 48 cents. And then divide that by 2. And you get 24 cents. So right there at the bottom of that table tells me that 1 ounce of juice in brand A costs 24 cents. So I can fill that in on B. It says brand A costs 24 cents per ounce. But I need to figure out the cost of brand B per ounce. So over here, they took 25 and divided it by 5 to get 5 ounces. So $4.50 divided by 5 would be 90 cents. And they did the same thing to get down to 1 ounce. 5 divided by 5 would be 1 ounce. And 90 cents divided by 5 is 18 cents. So right there, that tells us that 1 ounce of juice in brand B costs 18 cents. And then C asks, which brand is the better buy and why? So if brand A costs 24 cents every ounce that you have to drink, but brand B costs 18 cents per ounce, I want to go with the cheaper one per ounce because that one's going to be the best value. So the brand that the better buy is brand B. So brand B is cheaper, or is the better buy, I guess we should say, because that's what it's asking. Is the better buy since it is cheaper per ounce. Okay, so see how when we got down to like the same thing in our ounces, it's very easy to compare those two. Okay, so that's the point of doing all of that. So like these tables are nice and great and dandy and you can keep cutting things down, but I like to give you like the faster way because I know you're busy and you got a lot of things to do. So an easy way to do this is if I want to get 16 ounces down to 1 ounce, I could have just jumped right to 1 ounce by dividing by 16. Because 16 divided by 16 gets me 1. And then I could have done the same thing. So $3.84 divided by 16. I want you to pause the video and grab your calculator and see if that actually gets me 24 cents. Okay, hopefully you played along and you ran and got your calculator. Thanks for being a good sport if you did. So you should have gotten 24 cents. I checked it as well. So if I have brand B over here, if I want to go from 25 ounces all the way straight down to 1 ounce, what do you think I'm going to divide by? Oh, I think I heard 25. Good. So I need to do 25 divided by 25 to get 1 ounce. So do the same thing. $4.50 divided by 25 to get 18 cents per that 1 ounce, okay? So we're going to do that a lot when it comes to rates. We're going to be finding unit. Actually, there's a special name for this. You actually found the unit price is what it's called, because you found the price of 1 unit. So it's called the unit price, okay? So you're going to be doing that a lot in this unit, and we're going to do a couple more examples together. So looking at page 156. So what you actually just found is actually called a unit rate, but when you're working with money, it's called a unit price. So a unit rate is just a rate in which the second quantity is 1 unit. So that's exactly what we did up here. So the price of 1 ounce is 24 cents per 1 ounce for brand A. So we just found a rate with 1 as the second unit. So that's considered a unit rate. When the first quantity in a unit rate is an amount of money, like we just did in the warm-up, the unit rate is sometimes called the unit price, or I never say unit cost. I always say it's the unit price. Okay, so when you're dealing with money, money always goes on top, and if you get 1 on the bottom, that is a unit price. So the book goes and gives you a couple examples. So finding the unit rate, Gerald pays $90 for 6 classes of yoga. What is the cost per yoga class? You can actually use the hashtag for this, like I've been showing you. So we have dollars on top, and then we have classes on the bottom. So he pays $90 for 6 classes. If I want to find the cost per class or per 1 class, you have to ask yourself, how do I get from 6 to 1? Well, you're going to divide by 6. So you do the same thing to the top. 90 divided by 6, and you get $15. Okay? So right here, this tells me that 1 class cost $15. So I'm going to let you go and read example B and C. Same kind of thing. They get 1 on the bottom. Okay? That's a unit rate, comparing it to 1 unit or 1 thing. So looking at the next page, I think it's 1. Is this on the same page? No, I don't know. So you're looking for the your turn. Pretty sure it's on the next page. So your turn number 3. It says that there are 156 players on 13 teams. How many players are on each team? So you can use the hashtag for this, like I've been showing you. Great to keep with the same strategy. So what 2 things are we talking about? We're talking about players and teams. So what do we know about the players and teams? There are 156 players on 13 teams. And they need to know how many players are on each team. So that's going to be 1 team. So we want to take 13 teams and we want to go down to 1 team. So how do I get from 13 down to 1? You want to divide by 13 because 13 divided by itself gets 1. So then you do 156 divided by 13. So doing that on your calculator so I don't do all the work for you. You should get 12, okay? So there are 12 players per team. Okay. So very often, other than finding just me telling you, okay, find the unit rate of this or find how many players are on 1 team, the unit rate can actually be used to solve problems. Okay, so the book goes and gives you this like lovely picture of solving this problem, but I'm actually going to show you how to use the hashtag. Okay, so at a summer camp, the campers are divided into groups. Each group has 16 campers and 2 cabins. How many cabins are needed for 112 campers? So what is the best strategy to do this? So I would use a hashtag, and I would figure out my WIN, and I would put my 2 words in. My 2 words are campers and cabins. Okay? So we want to know, what do we know about the campers and cabins? The information that we know. We know there are 16 campers for 2 cabins. And they want to know how many cabins are needed for 112 campers. So we need to ask ourselves, how do we get from 16 to 112? So most of you can probably not figure that out off the top of your heads. So if you need to know what to multiply by, I would divide in reverse. Do 112 divided by 16 like I showed you yesterday, and you should get 7. So 16 times 7 gets us 112. 2 times 7 gets us 14 cabins. Okay? If there are 112 cabins, you need 112 campers, you need 14 cabins. Okay? Look at all these hashtag wins. They come in handy. And this problem, we're going to do the your turn on page 158. And this is going to be one where I show you where the unit rate comes in handy, okay? So we're going to do a hashtag. Put our WIN in, and then let's fill it out. So Petra jogs 3 miles in 27 minutes. At this rate, how long would it take her to jog 5 miles? And they want you to show your work, which we're going to do with hashtag. So we are talking about miles and minutes. Okay, so you're going to need your calculator for this. So if you don't have your calculator, I do want you to try this to see what happens. Okay, so pause and go get it if you don't have it by now, which you should. Okay, so we know that Petra jogs 3 miles in 27 minutes. So we're going to fill that into our hashtag. And they want to know, at this rate, how long would it take her to jog 5 miles? So if I plug 5 into the miles right there, something weird happens. So I need to figure out how to get from 3 to 5. Well, 3 doesn't equally go into 5. So I don't like that. So this is where the unit rate comes in handy. So if it doesn't go in evenly, don't do it. I suggest you find the unit rate. So can you figure out how many minutes it takes her to run 1 mile? So how do I get from 3 miles down to 1? I need to divide by 3. So do the same thing to the minutes. Divide your minutes by 3. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. So I know that in 9 minutes she can go 1 mile. But I need to figure out 5 miles. So I'm actually going to add an N to my win hashtag. I'm going to double win. Okay, I'm going to double N it. And then from there, I can go from 1 to 5 miles very easily. Okay, that goes in very easily because 1 times 5 is 5. I can do that very easily on the top of my head. And then 9 times 5 is 45. Okay, So right there is an example of why the unit rate is so important, because it helps it easily go in. So right now I know that Petra can jog 5 miles in 45 minutes. Okay. Okay, so your practice for today is actually going to be the rates worksheet if you have a packet, because you're a hybrid student. This is page 7 and 8 you're doing today as practice. I'm going to do 3 examples with you, and then I'm going to let you go. If you are an online student, I attached the worksheet for you to try on your own. So you can just do these problems in your notebook. So start these 3 examples with me, and then you can continue on your own. So find page 7 in your packet if you're a hybrid student, if you're not already there, so pause it because I'm going to keep going because I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so example 1 says the cost of 3 candles is $19.50. What is the unit price? So remember that the unit price is the price of one, or the price of one thing. So I want to make my hashtag. And money always goes on top in our hashtags. So we're talking about dollars, and then we're also talking about candles. So I know that the candles are $19.50 for 3 candles. So if I want to find the unit price, that's going to be the price of 1 candle. So I'm going to put 1 in my candle row and figure out how to get from 3 to 1. I just want to divide it by itself. And so I do the same thing to the top. Divide $19.50 by 3. And you should get $6.50. So the price of 1 candle is $6.50. Okay, so example 2. Michael walks 30 meters in 20 seconds. How many meters does he walk per second? So, hashtag, let's hashtag win. Okay, and what 2 words are we talking about? We are talking meters and seconds. So the information that they give us is 30 meters in 20 seconds. And I need to know how many meters he walks per second, or in 1 second. So how do I get from 20 down to 1? Divide by 20. So then you need to do 30 divided by 20 to get 1.5. So he walks 1.5 meters in 1 second. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to have you practice them on your own. So example 3 says that an airplane makes a 2,748-mile flight in 6 hours. What is the airplane's average rate of speed in miles per hour? And how many miles does the plane fly in 5 hours? So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make our hashtag, and we're going to figure out what the rate of speed in miles per hour is. So our 2 words are miles and hours. The information that they give us is 2,748 miles in 6 hours. So I need to find miles per hour, or how many miles it goes in 1 hour. So put 1 in the hours row and ask yourself, how do I get down from 6 to 1? I'm going to divide by 6. So do the same thing for 2,748 divided by 6. And that should tell you that it can go 458 miles in 1 hour. But wait, there's more. How many miles does the plane fly in 5 hours? So we're actually going to double N it on our hashtag. So from the 458 miles in 1 hour, I could easily figure out how far it'll go in 5 hours. So I want to take my 1 and I'm going to multiply it by 5 to get 5 hours. So do the same thing to 458. So 458 times 5 is 2,290. Okay, so we have to pull all of our information out and write a sentence. So the plane travels at 458 miles per hour and will travel 2,290 miles in 5 hours. Okay. Good job taking all those notes. And now it is your time to practice. So for one, I will get you started. So you're going to need 2 hashtags for one. So you are finding the best buy of peanut butter. So I do this all the time. Do I want the regular size or do I want the big family size? I have to figure out which one is better. So I would make 2 hashtags and do one for the regular and then one for the family. So in order to figure out the better buy, you want to find the unit price of each item or the price per ounce. So we're talking about dollars and ounces. So you're going to fill in the information from the table. So the regular is $3.36 per 16 ounces. And the family size is $7.60 per 40 ounces. So I want you to figure out the price per 1 ounce of each of them and then compare them to figure out the better buy. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish that. And then you have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the back of this worksheet to do for practice today. After you do those, check them with the answer key and then do your formative. And then you're done for the day, okay? So there is no new lesson tomorrow. I'm just going to have you practice all the skills that I've taught you in the last 3 days because I just threw a ton of information at you. So you'll get a practice day tomorrow. And on Friday, I'm going to show you how to solve some problems, okay? So please let me know if you have any questions. If you want to see any more examples, join my Google Meet at 11:30. If you don't have questions, then I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow.